Care gets someone in the door, but care alone does not keep them. Because somewhere around month two, something quiet happens. The new hire who was excited on day one starts to drift. The energy fades. They stop asking questions. They start picking up shifts somewhere else. Then one day they give notice, and the manager is surprised because technically, nothing went wrong. That is exactly the problem. Nothing went right either. That is where the second C comes in. Connection. If care is the heart, connection is the bridge. Connection is what turns I have a job here into I belong here. And connection is not a pizza party. It is not a sign in the break room that says, we are a family. Connection is built in the small, practical moments. The 30-day check-in that actually happens. The manager who knows the best line cook is in school full-time. The development conversation at 60 days, before the strongest server quietly starts job hunting. The leader who notices when someone is ready for more before the restaurant down the street notices it first. I learned connection in funny ways too. When I worked in Atlanta, I once asked a guest what kind of pop he wanted. Where I came from, that made perfect sense. But the guest already had a pop sitting next to him. That tiny moment taught me something about communication. In restaurants, we are constantly translating. Different regions, different cultures, different expectations, different ways people ask for the same thing. And if we do not slow down enough to understand each other, we do not connect. We assume. And assumptions are expensive in hospitality. Connection is what keeps assumptions from becoming mistakes. It is what helps a manager understand why a server is struggling before they write them off. It is what helps the front of house and back of house hear each other before frustration turns into resentment. It is what helps a guest feel recognized instead of processed. Here's what I have learned in 40 years. Your best people rarely leave for one reason alone. But many start looking because no one noticed they were ready for more. Connection is the system that notices, on purpose, on a schedule. Not because you got lucky and hired an empathetic manager, but because you built the moments in. A talented cook without communication eventually becomes frustrated. A great server without support eventually burns out. Connection is the bridge that gets them across before you lose them to the place down the street.